Carl and Dan here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it is track by track time. Sticking in the modern era, as Dan has chosen this one, it is Counterparts, a eulogy for those still here. I'm going to preface, although you chose this, I think this album is phenomenal. In fact, I reviewed it when it came out on the site and was very complimentary. I also think Counterparts are one of the finest young metalcore bands. Young, use that term loosely because they've been around a while or long enough compared to a lot of the sort of modern bands anyway. But they certainly are a band I thoroughly enjoy. This album came out October 7th, 2022. So, Jimmy, it's not even what's that? That's not even six. No, that is 6 months old.
6 months.
Exactly. Via Pure Noise Records, a label that certainly puts out great stuff as well. Was this your first introduction to Counterparts, or were you a fan before this album?
No, I've been a fan of Counterparts since I think 2019. Nothing Left to Love. And I was very excited for this album to come out. Very, very excited.
I think that's roughly probably the same album or around that time-ish that I sort of first noticed. So I think it was a name I'd always heard, like I'd heard for a while and stuff. But, you know, metalcore for the last decade, you know, there are so many bands and there's so many this and so on that sometimes you just go, oh, I can't do it. I can't listen to another one. So you don't listen to it.
Yeah.
But then you do end up missing out because the one you haven't listened to, because there's so fucking much of it, it happens to be a phenomenal one. You know, it's that kind of thing. I always think it's like
Hill for ages. I kept seeing so much stuff about the Dark Pool. And I just didn't listen to it. And the day I did, I was like, fuck. Yeah, should have listened.
You should have been there, exactly. And well, thankfully, using Thornhill as an example, you know, they've stepped away from that side of things. So hey, no worries. But you know, ultimately, Counterparts appeal to me is the fact that, you know, terms like honest and real and relatable get thrown around a lot in music, full stop, not specific to metal. And I don't always buy it, because what's relatable for one person isn't going to be necessarily relatable to me. Everyone can take different things from it. Everybody can feel different things, particularly if it's speaking about an event or situations in your life that directly affect you. You can always obviously connect to them. But with Counterparts, and particularly with this album, Eulogy for Those Still Here, it's probably a good example, I think, in the modern times where I heard it. I didn't necessarily relate to a lot of it, but I understood it. And I understood them and what they were trying to say and what they're trying to express. And like I said, I may not have the same emotive, but I could also sit there and go, oh, I don't feel it because this isn't relevant to me, but I can picture the people or think about the people that it would be. And that's an incredible thing.
Yeah, I understand that a lot. With this album in particular, it's very personal to them. I can see how it could be relatable to certain people and specific songs if you know the meaning and you read into the lyrics, you know.
Yeah, and it's a passionate display as well. Right, so as always, we're going to do it track by track, give you a brief rundown of our thoughts on each individual one, beginning with the opening, which is a date. It is the 26th of July, 2020, stylized in the American format, obviously. So, yeah, not much to say about this. A lot of feeling in this ambient intro, and it's only 38 seconds long, but I get a lot of the feeling.
It's the date is the day that Brendan, the vocalist, got his cat, Kuma, that obviously died, like, last year. I think it was just after the album came out, or just before. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was just before. So obviously they didn't have him for long. And yeah, you can feel that kind of, you know what it's setting up for the rest of the album.
And, you know, it is that detail, and finding the detail after the fact was something I can, you know, I used the term at the start about relatability. You know, having never really grew as an adult, had much in the way of loss when it came to pets, you know, plenty when I was a youngster, but not as an adult. You know, I would end up suffering a loss of 2 cats in the space of a year. And one of them was in particular, more than the other, was, you know, a real shock to my, like it really, really, but it still bothers me now. I'm talking about, of course, obviously I'm talking about Zelda here, obviously, Dan. You know,
yeah, of course.
So like, yeah, exactly. So I get that. Whispers of your, we should say as well, of course, you've obviously suffered the loss of a cat pet as well. You know,
yeah, big time. A cat that I held very, very close to my heart. You know, I was very upset. Um, and then obviously Morton Zelda, who I didn't see as often, but still held very close to my heart because to a certain extent, I did grow up with them. We got
Yeah,
them when I was like 10, 11 or something, and I remember them always being around.
yeah. And of course, Neptune was literally bought when you were like 6 months old.
Yeah,
So,
so like I didn't know a life without that cat. And up until I was like, when did he died in 2017?
mm,
I would have been like, how old was I? Like 15 or something.
mm, mm. Okay, Whispers of Your Death. The transition is near perfect, and straight away, the blend of metalcore melody and heartfelt passion is very appealing to me. I think this might be the most perfect introduction to the new album as possible. I don't think they could have done it any better way. Everything that is great about this album overall can be felt in this one. If you've only got time or the attention span for one track, I tell you, you do this one.
Yeah, it makes sense as an opener, and it makes sense that they open live with it as well. It's obviously the same, echoing the same sentiment as the last song. It's the song about Kuma, directly in the lyrics, and it's
Yep.
really, really upsetting.
Hmm.
Um, if you follow anything to do with the vocalist, then you know how he feels about this cat.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's no secret. That's cool. That's cool. All right. Unwavering Vow. It's hardcore intensity, dark melody, and the underlying wave of threat coming from this one.
You
The
missed a
latter.
song.
Oh, I did. You're right. Bound to the Burn. Apparently, I just skipped Bound to the Burn, which is weird because I wrote a lot of words about it as well. Bar Now Set. We're doing Bound to the Burn. Bar Now Set. This track comes screaming out of hell with its hair on fire, but hit these epic melodic highs that sound immense. It reminds me of very early While She Sleeps. Another example of just how much passion is in this album. Props to the drumming here in particular. It is spectacular and mental stuff.
Yeah, the drummer is immense. That dude has
Very
got like
talented.
his octopus arms.
Several
Yeah,
out, yeah.
this track, it's amazing. I had a live version of it before it came out. I had just a recorded live version of it for ages, and I listened to that for ages. No, I love this track. I was so excited to hear the actual studio version come out, so I could stop listening to this fucking live version of it. So hold it really close. It's wonderful. The chorus and the certain melodies mixed with the screaming and like the gang vocals from the rest of the band are really, really, really nice.
Amazing. All right, now Unwavering Vow. Hardcore intensity, dark melody, and an underlying wave of threat coming from this one. The latter part of this track, it's up there as maybe the most stupidly heavy part of the entire album.
Yeah, Counterparts seem to have like their one pissed off song of each album that's like more so than the others, and this is that. And I think it works really well. That breakdown gets me going every single time. I'm like, yeah, you know,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. The title track. It's a massive melodic start with a massive chorus and an immense end. This one has a nice tone shift in places, while still having that kind of abrasive monster of heaviness going on around it.
Yeah, this is a different one for Counterparts. So if you listen to a lot of their music, then you know that they don't just do these super high cleans that are really push into your face. They don't really do it. So it's really interesting to see that come through straight at the start, especially. Um, and some of the leads that they're playing here are they're really nice and good. Yeah, the chorus is wonderful as well.
It is a really good song. It's just another good song. You know, if you're at this point in the album, there's nothing bad. Nothing. Well, I mean, I'll tell you now, there's nothing bad in it overall anyway. But before we get there, Skin Beneath a Scar, a lovely short slice of moody melody that is transformed by a more robust beat and those awesome, coarse vocals. I love this track. I don't know, maybe it's because it's positioning more than anything else, but I think this is just top shelf shit.
I really like the song as well. Like melodically, love it. I think some of the lyrics are dumb as shit though. Um, I fall before your eyes like rain is not good lyric writing. I'm sorry.
It's a little overtly melodramatic, isn't it? A little bit
Yeah, I'm
like
just like,
cringe.
like I'm like, yeah, and then I read the lyrics. I was like, ah, fuck, this is dumb.
Hey, it can't be perfect at everything, can they?
No, it can't.
Okay, Sworn to Silence. The energy is back for this frenzied explosion of metalcore heaviness. Counterparts still keeping things fresh and interesting as we head towards the latter stages of the album, which is great.
Yeah, this song, I think at the start maybe it's a bit not as interesting as some of the other ones, but it does pick up and get much more interesting. It's got a fantastic breakdown that's pure horrible noises and yeah, it's a good
Horrible
track.
noises.
A good track.
It is a good track. It is. What mirrors might reflect. Now, this is where I guess the most criticism you're going to get from me. I want to say to you that this is a bit more ho-hum, a little less interesting, a little standard, as it were. Yet, even though I recognize all that, I still find myself thoroughly enjoying it, and it has a killer breakdown. So like, I'm gonna like, well, I am like I said, I can go like, right, you know what, this isn't the most exciting of the bunch, but I still really like it. So you know what I mean.
I think this track absolutely is wonderful, and that second breakdown is like you got that like stank face. It's like I'd love to see them play this live because I'm seeing them in like 1, 2, 3 weeks,
3
May
weeks.
6th or May 7th. I'm very excited.
Where is that again?
Electric Brixton.
Yeah, pity. I almost thought you were going
know.
to say Electric Ballroom there because that would have been killer. But Electric Brixton, what are you going to do?
Like Brixton, I would have loved for it to be Electric Ballroom.
You're going to get to see him. That's still pretty damn cool. All right, Soil 2. The melodies are huge on his short track, but the most outstanding aspect of this is the vocals. I love how it reaches its apex in such epic style.
Yeah, this song is beautiful. I really, really like it. And I think it sets up what comes even better. It's just lovely.
It's a really well-structured album. The flow is delightful. The switches between abrasive, nonsensical intensity to then these melodic elements, which aren't in the sense where it's like, here's something soft that you can chill out to. I don't think that's the right way to describe the sort of melodic, softer side of this. It's not that. It's just a different tone. Because obviously you're right. You go from Soil 2 to Flesh to Fill Your Wounds. And I only wrote a handful of words here, but it's all I needed to say. Fucking hell. This is chaos, and I love it.
Yeah, I love this song so much. It's probably I won't spoil it because you got our top 3. It's amazing, the layered vocals, the chorus, where you've got that super high vocals mixed with the next line, abandonment is all I've known. It's like, fuck, that's horrible. You've got that first breakdown, and it's really good, but then it comes back a second time, just to cause violence, and you're like, yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and initially, I remember my first listen, I was kind of like, that's it. That's all you need to do. Like, you've done it. Like, maybe if you want to have an extra bit, you have another sort of melodic kind of short outro more than anything else. So when I did see A Mass Grave of Saints, I was initially like, oh, man, how are you going to follow that? Like, you've kind of just blasted me. And now what are you going to do? Another one? What an ending. as epic as it is heavy, as melodic as it is abrasive, as emotional as it is grim, it is massive. It is brilliant. I was stunned. I'm still stunned. Even now, I'm getting a little bit of goosebumps where I'm reminded of being like, this is a bad idea. This track shouldn't be here. You've just done Flesh Full of Wounds. That was fine. And then just being like, oh mate, I should never have even doubted them.
Yeah, this song is fantastic. I've seen it live once, and it's wonderful there too. Once again, echo the same sentiments with the cleans. It's not something they generally do, but when they do it, it's really well. And it's the fact that they don't do it just every song, which makes it so special when they do. And you're like, yeah, that's really good. Fantastic closer.
I feel like the more they bring and introduce clean into their music, it's part of their evolution, it's part of their aging, it's part of their changing style and stuff like that. And as they gradually introducing it, if they ever hit a stage where it's a bit more prominent, it won't feel like a shock because it'll have been building for the last couple of albums.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
Definitely,
people,
I see that.
We are going to try and give you 3 tracks, but I hope it's clear by this track by track. Just listen to this album. It's not a long album either. That's the thing. It isn't like 15 tracks. It's not 50 minutes. This is a short, sharp shock to your senses. You can put this on and in 30 odd minutes be done and have experienced it, but you will just
33 minutes long, 11 songs, barely 10 songs.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, there you go. It's on that. But we are going to throw out 3, even though I think all of them are viable options, or almost all of them are viable options. I will let you take this away then. What's your 3?
Flesh to Fill Your Wounds, easily. Whispers of Your Death, and Unwavering Vow, I think.
All amazing tracks. We match up on one, which is Whispers of Your Death. I thought that was very clear. But I also praised heavily and have chosen Skin Beneath the Scar. And obviously, after all I've said, the finale of A Mass Grave of Saints. But again, I cannot stress the 3 Dan has chosen, but the 2 that I didn't choose are more than viable. You have 5 tracks there that we pointed out that you could simply check out. But this is one of those rare times where I generally urge you just to listen to the damn whole thing.
I can say, as an avid Counterparts fan, this is easily their best work to date. So go fucking check it out.
Yep, it's that there. Counterparts A Eulogy for those still here. Let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?